Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. Raw was not very good tonight. Let's just get it out of the way because I have other things I need to get to. It was June 9th, 2014 from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I missed watching E3 for this. And I much rather would have been watching E3. Either way. And this had already been spoiled for me in advance because I think it was over Facebook, and I might have also seen something on No DQ that basically said Daniel Bryan's neck injury that he's recovering from, he's not going to be healed by the pay-per-view, so he won't be able to defend the title. So, as Stephanie said last week, the show starts with Justin Roberts announcing the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie. They come out to King of Kings, of course. As long as I don't have to listen to Stephanie's shitty music, okay, fine. The two of them talk, and they talk about Daniel Bryan. He's not going to be able to compete, and they say, you know what, you don't have to take our word for it. Hear it from the horse's mouth, the doctor who performed the surgery on Daniel Bryan. And they cut up to the Tron, where this doctor guy says, yep, sure enough, Bryan's not going to be better by the time the pay-per-view rolls around. So, yeah. Long story short, they have to strip Daniel Bryan of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And now, like I said, just as Stephanie said last week, the Money in the Bank ladder match will now be for the title. So here's my question. Why don't they have two Money in the Bank matches? One could be for the title, the other one could actually be for the briefcase. And then Triple H and Stephanie start going over the participants for the Money in the Bank match. We already know, because of last week, Alberto Del Rio beat Dolph Ziggler for no good reason. And so Del Rio is going to be the first official participant in the Money in the Bank match. And then Triple H, I think, announces that we're just going to put Randy Orton into the Money in the Bank match. He doesn't even have to qualify. So, yeah. Guess who's going to win? I'd be willing to bet. So Randy's in, yeah, whatever. And then they basically said, we told you so, Daniel Bryan's not good enough, yada yada. And then Triple H gets around to bringing up the Shield. And they even roll a recap of what happened last week. Rollins turning on them and joining with Evolution. And he goes on to say that tonight we're going to have the Shield, or what's left of the Shield, Ambrose and Reigns, in a 6-man tag team match versus all 3 members of the Wyatt family. If they can find a partner. And if they can't, it'll basically be a 2-on-3 handicap match. And he also says that the Shield will perish tonight. So, yeah, we get a boring 20-minute promo to start the show. I already want to shoot myself. Commentators announce that up next, we're going to have our first of two Money in the Bank match qualifying matches, and that's going to be Sheamus, our United States champion, versus our Intercontinental champion, Wade Barrett. That match is going to be up next, and they cut to a commercial. Sheamus comes out, and Barrett comes out, and he cuts a stupid promo, and I don't care. And they have the match, and it was meh. And yeah, I'm still cutting down on my notes, like I said, and I still wound up with a full page plus almost half of another page. So, and that's front and back sort of shit, so. Right. Sheamus does a crossbody on Barrett over the top rope, and they both go out of the ring. And I think after that they cut to a commercial. But yeah, there was a commercial break. Oh yeah. This was something I saw that was stupid as fucking hell. Barrett was on the outside of the ring, up against the barricade or something. Sheamus goes up to the top rope, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing, you idiot? Sure enough, he tries to dive down on Barrett. Barrett gets out of the way, and Sheamus eats the fucking barricade. Barrett, like the chicken shit coward he is, rolls into the ring and tells the ref to start counting Sheamus out. Sheamus is almost counted out, but he does make it back in before the 10 count, and so the match has to keep going. Yada, yada, yada. What ended up happening was Barrett got the upper hand, and he had Sheamus in the corner, and he was just beating the shit out of him, breaking up every few seconds because the ref was counting and was going to disqualify him. But finally, Barrett backs off, and he has a little chat with the referee, turns around, Sheamus explodes out of the corner with a brogue kick. Sheamus makes the cover, 1, 2, 3, match is over, Sheamus wins, and Barrett looks like the bitch that he is. So I don't really care. While Sheamus is kind of celebrating, we get the stupid Wyatt cut, and there those jackasses are up on the Titantron. Harper starts talking first, and then Bray talks, and Rowan ends by saying, follow the buzzards, and then they do the cutaway gag again, and it goes to commercial. Coming back, Justin Roberts again announces the ravishing Russian Lana, who for, I think, the first time comes out to no reaction, because the people know what's about to happen, and they don't fucking care anymore. Of course, she goes through her usual crap. Russia's awesome, and the USA can blow me. And I'm like, you bitch, you're from Florida! You're not Russian! And she also starts showing these pictures of President Obama. She says he's a girly man. Nowhere near as cool as Vladimir Putin. And shows pictures of Putin, like, I guess he's been in like MMA fights or some shit because he's like beating people up and crap. This gimmick is so weak. I've said it before. It is the stereotypical evil foreigner shtick. It's so played out. It was so played out 20 fucking years ago. And guess what, ass clowns? It's still played out today. Didn't stop the crowd from being stupid and actually chanting USA. Ugh. Anyways, finally, after wasting way too much fucking time doing nothing but looking pretty and pissing me off, Lana finally introduces Rusev, and he comes out to no reaction, but he's carrying the Russian flag and his stupid little gold star medal that he got awarded last week. He gets no reaction. He actually talks for a minute. And he actually speaks a few words in English. And then they finally go to the fucking ring. And hey, look, there's Zack the Jobber Ryder in the ring. Guess what he gets to do? Again, for the second week in a row. He gets jobbed out by Rusev in a just complete squash. Ryder hardly got in any offense. He hits the ropes, eats that running super kick thing that Rusev's been doing, which wipes Ryder the fuck out. Lana says Rusev crush. He steps on his back, puts him in the accolade, and Ryder taps out. Shit squash match. The crowd was dead afterwards, of course. And then it sounded like pyro went off. And the camera looks above the ring, down comes the fucking big Russian flag. And I'm like, they're seriously gonna go forward with this shit? At least they're not doing it during the match. Because then it would be really just like the LAX or Latin America or whatever it was from TNA. It's hilarious. This show has got 2 or 3 different things in it that were basically ripped right out of TNA. The flag coming down from the ceiling, and something somebody says later on. At least I first heard it in TNA. I don't know if it was somewhere else before then, but I don't care. The flag, whatever, moving on. The announcers tease a segment where Seth Rollins is supposed to explain his actions. Why he stabbed the Shield in the back, yada yada. Since we didn't get a fucking answer out of him on SmackDown, because of course they're not gonna blow their load on that on SmackDown and waste it because nobody watches SmackDown. But yeah, they hyped that and they cut to another commercial. Coming back from the commercial, Rybaxel are finishing their entrance. Axel, who is actually from Minneapolis, Minnesota, or at least I think he is. I know Mr. Perfect was, so whatever. Then Goldust's music hits, and of course it's time for this stupid gimmick, or this stupid storyline. He comes out, and his partner this week is R-Truth. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Truth already has a tag team partner. What happened to him and Xavier Woods? Well, apparently we'll find out about that later. Not really, though, but whatever. But of course, what do you think happens? New partner for Goldust, they lose. Rybaxel picks up the fucking win again, and I didn't even see the finish because I didn't even care. Not something funny, but the end of the match comes. Goldust was legal with Axel, I think, and Truth jumped in the ring to hit Ryback, who was in the ring. He went to give Ryback his goofy little, the little, like, axe, not the axe, like, scissors kick, but he went to do the, where he jumps up and scissors his legs and kicks the guy and then spins around and lands on his ass. I don't know. But he went to do that. But Ryback catches him and then just dumps him out of the ring. And the way Truth landed looked like he might have fucked up his leg. So, I don't know. It didn't really look like it that because Truth came back in the ring after the match. But yeah, I think Goldust got rolled up by Axel 1, 2, 3 and Rybaxel wins. Match sucked, was not all that long, and I really don't care about this storyline. Hurry the fuck up and turn Cody heel and get this over with already. Moving on. We cut backstage. There's Layla in the makeup chair, having the makeup artist put on her face. And they're talking, yada yada. She says something about Summer and whatever the fuck. Speak of the devil, up comes Summer, who apparently had a carton of milk. I didn't even know what the hell it was at first, up until later on when they finally said it was milk. But yeah, she comes up with a carton of milk, dumps it all over Layla's head, grabs her, smacks her up against this table that's nearby, she throws a hissy fit, and I'm seriously thinking, how the hell is Summer the face in this situation? She came up from behind Layla unprovoked. Okay, Layla said something, but aren't faces supposed to be like the bigger person and not like let that kind of thing bother them? Summer comes up from behind Layla, dumps a bunch of white cream on her, which was incredibly suggestive, by the way. Dumps a bunch of milk on her, grabs her, throws her up against a table, bangs her head on it a few times, and then she fucks off. And then, of course, they cut to a commercial. And yeah, that's not the last time we see this dog shit, so we gotta... Anyways. Coming back from the commercial, 3MB is in the ring. Thankfully, without Hornswoggle for once. I'm guessing Hornswoggle's gone for a while. Not to mention the fact that apparently he's in this movie that's coming out, another stupid WWE production, a remake of the Leprechaun movie. No, I won't be watching it, so don't ask. 3MB's in the ring, and they start talking about the Shield. And I'm like, why are you guys calling down the thunder on yourselves? Why would you do that? Even 2-on-3, they're still gonna kill you guys. And sure enough, that's exactly what happens. Shield music hits mid-sentence when Slater's talking. Shield music hits, the two of them come out, they beat the fuck out of Slater and Jinder and D-Mac. Slater tries to bail. He starts backing up the ramp, while Reigns and Ambrose beat the hell out of McIntyre and Jinder. Apparently, Reigns went out through the crowd, hooked around back up to the stage, and flanked Slater from the side and speared him on the stage. And then Reigns made his way back to the ring where Ambrose is waiting with a microphone. They proceed to cut a fucking great promo. Ambrose goes first, of course. Says that Seth was a cancer. And he's going to rearrange Seth's face. And at the end of his promo, he's holding the mic with both hands. And he slaps it down with one hand and just bangs it against the fucking mat. And then he's like, oh, wait a second, I gotta pick that back up for Roman. So he grabs it and hands it to Roman. Roman talks, and he says that Randy Orton, he's been walking around thinking he's hot soup and everything, and he thinks he's the face of the company. Well, when I get done with him, he's going to be the ass of the company. And then he talks about Triple H, saying that you're the King of Kings. Well, you know what? We're going to have our own Game of Thrones. And I believe in the Shield, and that's it. So, yeah. I like the Game of Thrones reference. That's a great fucking show. Please don't spoil any of Season 4 for me. I don't even think I've finished the 3rd season yet. Anyways, they leave, and we get more hype for Rollins explaining his actions, and also hype for the Shield versus Wyatt family match, and we cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the break, the Usos come out. I don't care. And then Fandango's music hits, and he comes out with Layla, who is still wet from the milk. And as they're going through their little dance on the stage, I think her hair whips around and hits Johnny in the face, and he's like, what the fuck? And so they basically stop. And Johnny kind of takes a couple of steps forward. His music keeps playing for some reason. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a tag team match. Who the fuck is his partner? Johnny goes over, and then he points at the entry in the direction of the curtain, and out came... At first, I didn't know who it was because it was kind of dark, and the dude comes out, and he gets down on one knee, and it looks like he's wearing a flesh-colored bodysuit. Can you see where this is going? Finally, there's a spotlight, and we see the guy's face. Who else is it but Damien Sandow? Yes, in a flesh-colored onesie bodysuit. No, not only that, but he's got a streamer wand thing. And apparently he's doing interpretive dancing. Fuck off already with this comedy crap. And that's basically all this match was. So they go down to the ring, and they have their match with the Usos, and Sandow got his ass kicked because he's doing his stupid dancing shit. And the Usos hit the big splash, and they get the win. And my only other note is stupid fucking shit. Moving on. More hype for Seth explaining his actions, and we cut to a commercial break. Coming back, there's this weird music playing. It's got like a really long wide shot of the arena, like way all the way at the back of the arena. It looks like there's somebody in the ring, there's music playing, and the Titantron and Minitron are going off with something, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Finally, the camera goes into the ring, and I'm like, oh, it's Xavier Woods. Since when has he had this crappy music? And I'm like, well, great, what is this gonna be? And then Bo Dallas's music hits. Yeah. He comes out and he does his Yao Ming face. And when he gets in the ring, he gets a mic. And he starts to cut a promo talking about Daniel Bryan, saying the only way for him to recover from his neck injury is to believe. Yeah, fucking. Moving on. Match starts. There was a very loud CM Punk chant. Bo hits the fucking Bo Dog and he gets the win, and the crowd's dead. He does his victory lap, and then he goes down to Xavier Woods, who's sitting in the corner of the ring after the match, and he's like, I believe in you. You're gonna be great one day. Moving on. I swear, I need to get like a webcam so I can record my face, so you can actually see the look on my face for some of these things, because you have to see my face, just how... Moving on. Okay, yeah. After that, they announced that we're going to have our next Money in the Bank qualifier match is going to be Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro. And apparently they said that was going to be next because it is next. But yeah, they hype that and they cut to commercial. Coming back, Paul Heyman is in the ring. And already I'm just like, oh Christ. Sure enough, talks about Brock beating the streak. And he continues to say, you know what, we're actually in Brock Lesnar's hometown in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was just talking with Brock earlier today, and he said maybe we should do something special tonight for Raw. And the crowd was actually like, holy crap, we might actually see Brock. And the crowd kind of got pumped because they're like, yeah, we can boo this sack of shit out of the building. But no. Heyman swerves it and says, I'd like to introduce the King of Swing, Cesaro. I don't mind Cesaro, but why the fuck did they put him with Heyman? But yeah, Heyman was talking about the specialness about what happened at WrestleMania, and like I said, he swerved it. He says, I'd like to introduce to you the winner of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania, Cesaro. And Cesaro comes out with this strut walk to him. He's got his chest puffed out. And I'm like, dude, he just basically buried you, did nothing but talk about Brock for 5 minutes, and then swerved into introducing you. Why do you not decapitate this son of a bitch? I swear to God. They did this just to kill off all momentum that Cesaro had. I just know it. Because they didn't want him to get over. Well, if you didn't want him to fucking get over, why'd you give him the giant swing, you morons? That's like the biggest face move you could give somebody. Anyways. Cesaro comes out. And then RVD comes out to hardly any reaction. And we get the match. And this match actually turned out to be okay. One of the only couple of matches that were okay or tolerable. There was a commercial break, and let's see, Rob went to do his stupid monkey flip out of the corner. Cesaro countered it because as Rob jumped up to jump on Cesaro, Cesaro caught him, lifted him up, and hits the Swiss Death uppercut, knocks the piss out of RVD with it. After that, I think again Cesaro was in the corner and Rob went to charge him. Cesaro got out of the way and Rob crotched himself on the second rope. And so Cesaro gets onto the apron and grabs Rob by the leg and yanks it down around the ring post. And I was like, okay, well that's new. It looked really weird, but whatever. He hits that, gets back in the ring, grabs Rob, hits the neutralizer, and Cesaro gets the win. So Cesaro has now qualified for the Money in the Bank match. Or I should say the WWE World Heavyweight title ladder match. Because there's no Money in the Bank at stake on this thing. I really don't know why they don't just announce another Money in the Bank match. We're actually going to have one match for the briefcase, which will be just like always. You cash it in whenever the fuck you want, yada yada yada. But we're going to have another ladder match for the title. Anyways, moving on. We get a recap of the first segment, the boring goddamn promo of Triple H and Stephanie, and it's mostly Triple H talking about the Shield that they recap. And yeah, they get to recapping the rest of it later. And then they also recap the Shield promo from earlier after they beat the piss out of 3MB. And then the commentators say they hype up, okay, Seth Rollins is going to talk next. That'll be up next, and they cut to another commercial break. Coming back, Michael Cole is in the ring. There's this little black carpet in the ring, and they got two little director's chairs for Cole and Rollins to sit in. And Cole introduces Rollins, and then this really bad, generic, like hard rock or heavy metal type of music hits, and out comes Rollins in a suit. And they had showed Rollins in the suit earlier because while the Shield were cutting their promo, they were cutting back and forth between them and Rollins watching backstage, and he's standing there in his suit. But yeah, Rollins comes out to this really generic, really, really lame, like hard rock music. And I like hard rock music, but this sounded lame. And his Titantron and Minitron were pretty fucking crap too. He came out to no reaction, by the way. Like, everybody was sitting on their hands. They didn't give a fuck. But he comes out and he gets in the ring and he sits down in the chair. And they start getting around to this. It's supposed to be like a sit-down interview. And I don't know why the fuck they keep having Michael Cole do these things. There's a loud "You sold out" chant. And this is where that one thing from TNA comes back. I'll get to that in a second. Rollins, through the course of his promo, basically, he basically says, you know what, I created the Shield. It was my brainchild. I was the architect. It was all me. He takes all the credit for creating them. And he's like, what, you didn't think Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns was smart enough to come up with this, do ya? And I think there was another "You sold out" chant, and that's where Rollins says, no, I bought in. And that was a line that I think Jeff Jarrett said in TNA during the whole, the forming of the Immortal faction. I didn't sell out, I bought in. Whatever. And Rollins continues by saying, I think Cole asked him, don't you feel bad about stabbing your brothers in the back? And Rollins says, you know, to Ambrose and Reigns, we may have been brothers, but to me, we were always just business partners. And I decided to sever business ties. Because again, he starts going through the generic spiel of, oh, this was best for business. I thought this promo sucked. I don't really think Rollins is all that great at promos. Finally, he finishes his promo, and he says, you know, I heard Ambrose and Reigns earlier say that they were going to wait for me to say my piece, and then they were going to come out and beat my ass. Well, I've said my piece, and he grabs the one director's chair and he chucks it out of the ring, and he hands Cole the microphone and tells him to scram. And he's basically just begging for it, you know, come and get me, motherfuckers. But of course, like a cowardly heel, as Ambrose and Reigns come out from the side of the stage to jump up onto the ramp to come in, they don't get their music, they don't come out of the crowd, no. They come up from the side of the stage, jump onto the ramp to come in from the front. They get in the ring, or they get close to the ring, or no, I think they actually did get in the ring. And of course, blackout. Wyatt cut. Of course. Lights come back on, and there's Harper and Rowan and Bray. And Seth is on the outside of the ring. So, we get a big brawl between the Shield and the Wyatts. And Ambrose and Reigns, they're getting beat down for a second. Rollins gets into the ring, because he's thinking, okay, they're getting beat down, I can get in and do my damage. But no, Roman comes back, fights off Rowan, I think it was, and Ambrose fights off Harper, and Bray wasn't doing much because he's a piece of shit. But either way, Rollins is like, oh fuck, they're fighting them off and I'm about to get my ass kicked. He goes to take off and run, but Roman grabs him from behind and basically like a full Nelson, and since Seth is so scrawny, it's hilarious watching him kick and flail. But, of course, Rollins gets out of there and they don't get to do anything to him, and he hightails it. He fucking legged it real quick. Even the commentators were like, shit, where'd he go? He took off so fast. And I think what happened was Ambrose and Reigns were about to beat the crap out of Rollins, but then the Wyatts got back in the ring. And so Seth escaped in the chaos. And so as Ambrose and Reigns are getting beat down by the Wyatts, who else comes for the save but John motherfucking Cena? His music hits and he comes out and the fight's on and fucking they chase off the Wyatts. And we've found the partner for the Shield for the main event match tonight. Of course. Because this was so stupidly predictable. Who else was feuding with the Shield? Or not the Shield, the Wyatts. Of course it had to be Cena. Couldn't have somebody interesting or new, no. We can't just debut a new member for the Shield. No. Moving on. They announced that for main event tomorrow night, we're going to see Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. Or no, wait. After the brawl and after Cena and the Shield fights off the Shield, or after they fight off the Wyatts, there was a commercial break. Coming back from that is when they announced Rollins and Ziggler for main event. And then they also show a recap of what just happened, the brawl and Cena coming out for the save, and you son of a bitch, I'm gonna... Moving on. Paige's music hits, and I'm like, oh, Christ. Not that I don't like Paige, I'm just like, I know what's about to happen. We're going to get another shitty match with Alicia Fox, and Paige is going to get another John Cena win, and then Fox is going to freak out again. And that's exactly what happened. Paige comes out, and Fox comes out with Oksana for some reason. And so we get the match, of course, and it was a crap Cena match, of course. And the finish of the match comes, like, of course, always, Fox is beating the crap out of Paige the whole match. Paige reverses, throws Fox head first into the ropes where she bumps into Oksana, lays them both out. Paige locks in the Scorpion Crosslock, which apparently she now calls the PTO, or Paige's Tap Out, which is a really awful name. Just call it the Scorpion Crosslock. But she locks it in, Fox taps out, Paige leaves, And then Fox freaks out on Oksana. Let's see. Fox was in the ring, and Oksana got in to kind of console her since they're supposed to be friends or whatever. And Fox freaks out on her, goes out of the ring, grabs some popcorn and some bottles of water from some plant in the crowd, throws popcorn at the announcers, throws some at the camera, gets in the ring, dumps the 2 bottles of water on Oksana, and then throws popcorn on her, freaks out, and then she goes all bipolar, and she starts being nice, and she's like trying to feed her the popcorn, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Then she freaks out on her again, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! This is garbage! Fox is not interesting at all, even with this stupid bipolar gimmick. Stop having her on the show. She's an awful wrestler to boot. Fuck's sake. You drag this shit out so long, it's annoying. Moving on. More hype for the Wyatts versus Shield and now Cena match. And they cut to a commercial. Coming back, the Real Americans music is playing, and I'm like, oh Christ, another Swagger and Adam Rose match. No. Swagger and Zeb are in the ring, and then Santino's music hits. And I'm like, oh Christ, that's even worse. Santino thankfully comes out without Emma for once. Thank God. They need to send her ass back to NXT and completely repackage her. While Santino's coming out, there's a picture-in-a-picture promo of Santino. It was horrible, of course. And we get a crap match. And I was thinking the whole time, Swagger, if you job to this piece of crap, I will never respect you again. Fortunately, he didn't. But only because... Let's see, Swagger rolled out of the ring after Santino was getting the upper hand, and Zeb's trying to talk to him, and he's like, come on over here, and Swagger's like, what? And Zeb's just like, you know what, fuck you, and he slaps him. And Swagger's like, and he slaps him again. And Swagger's like, what the fuck? And he's like, get the hell in there and beat him. Apparently that's Zeb's new pep talk. And I know he's done that before, but Jesus Christ. Finally, back in the ring, yada yada bullshit, Santino goes for the Cobra. And I'm like, seriously, please don't let Swagger job to this shit. He goes for it, Swagger blocks it, bats the hand away. He bats the hand away, grabs Santino in a gut wrench, picks him up, gut wrench powerbomb, covers him 1, 2, 3, and Swagger actually wins for God's sake. And I was like, holy shit, they actually did something good. Moving on. More hype for the Wyatts versus Shield and Cena match, and we cut to another commercial. Coming back from the break, there's Goldust sitting in the locker room. And Cody comes up, surprises the shit out of Goldust. And Cody starts talking, you know what, for next week I got the perfect partner for you. He's gonna magnify the greatness that is Goldust or whatever, some shit like that. I don't care. Moving on. We get another recap, this time of Stephanie talking from the first segment, stripping Daniel Bryan of the title. And yeah, the belts have been hanging on the nice little golden hook thing that they used at the TLC pay-per-view all those months ago for the unification match. The belts have been hanging from that hook the whole night. So, I'm thinking, okay, how the hell did they get the belts back from Bryan? Who cares? Moving on. We cut backstage to the office where Triple H and Stephanie are talking to each other. And then Stephanie mentions Cena, and Triple H is like, don't worry about it, Shield's done with, we're going to get rid of him by the end of the night. And then up comes Vicky Guerrero with a bottle of champagne and some glasses. And she's like, let's celebrate, and she pours some champagne, and I think she took a sip, and then she sneezed, like in Stephanie's face. And Stephanie slaps the glass out of Vicky's hand, and she says, "I've already fired you once. Don't make me do it again. Now get the hell out of here." And Vicky leaves, and that's it. And I'm like, what in the fuck was the point of that? Are they actually trying to make Vicky look sympathetic? No, motherfuckers. After all this shit, you're not going to try and make me like Vicky Guerrero. That's something that cannot happen. It is not possible. You will not get people to cheer for Vicky Guerrero. I guarantee that. They can have Stephanie and Triple H fire her ass again, and I still wouldn't like her. Moving on. Cutting back to the ring, the Shield music hits, and they come out. And then we cut to a commercial. And I think right as they were cutting to commercial, they did this video package announcing that Kevin Hart, the terrible comedian and even worse comedic actor, is going to be on Raw next week. Great. And coming back from the break, they announced that we're going to have Sheamus versus Cesaro on SmackDown this Friday. Oh great, like we haven't already seen that shit. Cena's music hits and he comes out. And then the Wyatts come out, and we've got the same stupid stare down that we always get when we have a Shield versus Wyatts match. But instead of the normal thing of the crowd starting to chant, "This is awesome," before the match even starts, no, instead of that, we got the dueling, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." And I'm like, why the fuck are you people still chanting for Cena? They chanted it throughout the whole match, and Cena had his ass on the apron pretty much the whole match. They're still chanting it even when Cena's not in the fucking ring. Anyways, we get the match. It starts off with a brawl, of course. That comes after the stare down. We get the match starts. There's a commercial break in the middle of the match, and Harper gets Cena backwards up on the top rope. And he pulls him up onto his shoulders, and I'm like, there's no way he's going to do the burning hammer. Cena already chewed out Tyler Rex for doing that. No. Harper hits a rack pancake, which, if you don't know, you get him up like on the shoulders like you're going to do the torture rack, but instead you spin him out into a neck breaker. So he does that. Whatever. Fast forwarding a bit, Reigns gets somebody set up and he does the apron drop kick. I think he actually did it twice. Once on Rowan and then once on Harper or something like that. And he had to punch Bray in the face in the middle because Bray tried to stop him from hitting it the first time. Whatever the fuck. We get a clusterfuck. There's a brawl. Cena gets fed into Bray, who hits him with a swinging Sister Abigail, like the running, swinging one, whatever the fuck. Clusterfuck, yada yada. Harper hits the super kick on Reigns. Yada yada. Roman explodes out of the corner with the spear on Harper, I think, and he gets the win. So the Shield and Cena win the match. The match was actually alright, but that's mainly because they kept Cena out of it for most of the match. While the Shield and Cena are celebrating, they cut backstage to show Triple H and Rollins watching backstage. And then they cut back to in the ring with the Shield and Cena celebrating, and that's the end of the show. So, overall, like I said, the show was not all that great. Bunch of crap matches, and only a couple that were decent or bearable. More dragging their asses with the stupid Cody and Goldust feud. Get it over with already. I don't care about these guys. Oh, the brothers! It's the tag team breakup storyline. It's so played out again. Just turn Cody heel and just let him go off on his own. Do we really need to drag Goldust in for this? Only good thing was I got to see Ryder get his ass kicked again. But that's still a bummer because it was Rusev doing it and not somebody good. This whole shit with Rusev. So lame. Anyways, I guess we'll go back over the matches one more time. Sheamus defeats Wade Barrett in a Money in the Bank qualifying match that was meh. Explodes with a brogue kick. Ryder gets jobbed out to Rusev in a shit squash match. Rybaxel defeats Goldust and R-Truth in a shit match. The Usos defeat Fandango and Damien Sandow in another shit match. Sandow acting like a fool. Xavier Woods gets beat by Bo Dallas in another shit match. Cesaro defeats Rob Van Dam in another Money in the Bank qualifying match, which was actually okay. Paige defeats Alicia Fox in another crap match. In another come-from-behind Cena victory. I swear, they really need to stop doing this with Paige. She's better than this. She should be crushing every diva on the roster. It shouldn't even be close. And of course we had to get another Fox freak out. Somebody needs to have her committed. That's the only way. That's the only place this stupid gimmick and storyline could go. She's gonna freak out one too many times. Somebody's gonna bring out the straitjacket and have her ass committed, and that should hopefully write her character off TV forever. And she should never come back because she is horrible. She's a terrible wrestler. She's lousy at promos. She has no charisma. Moving on. Jack Swagger actually manages to beat somebody, Santino Marella, in what was still a crap match, but you know what? Whatever. People are actually blocking the stupid Cobra now. Thank Christ. It's a stupid move anyways. And then The Shield and John Cena defeat the Wyatts in an alright main event. Don't care anymore. That was Raw from June 9th, 2014, Minneapolis, Minnesota. As I said, it was not all that great. And I have other things I need to do, so I'm going to go do them. Thank you for watching. Join us next time for the SmackDown spoilers. World title's been vacated. We've got no Daniel Bryan and no CM Punk. We've got no AJ Lee in the Divas division. Paige is being made to look like shit every week. Alicia Fox keeps doing one of her freakouts every week. Why are they torturing us with so much garbage? And I haven't even mentioned the commentary team. The three of those ass clowns need to shut the fuck up and go away. I really want a new commentary team. Or at least I'd like the option to mute the commentary team so I can watch the show without hearing their stupid jokes, which Lawler cracked about 5 of them during the show, and they were all awful, and they all fell flatter than holy hell. Jerry, just shut the fuck up. You haven't been funny since '98. I miss Jim Ross. I miss Bobby Heenan. Why can't we get some good commentators? How hard is it to actually call the match that's happening in front of you and maybe make some good jokes or make some intelligent comments about the action, again, that's happening in front of you? What is so hard about it? These three schmucks annoy the shit out of me. Michael Cole has always been awful. Jerry Lawler has not been the same since his heart attack. And JBL has also always been awful on commentary. The only time he's funny is when he's telling Michael Cole to shut up. I want somebody to come out and beat the shit out of all three of them. Anyways, that was Raw. Thank you for watching. Join us next time for the SmackDown spoilers. And we will see you next time for that. Good night.